give us our flowers, man. And the reason why I say that is because if you guys think about it, just imagine how many people lost their life to COVID. It was us who was going in there picking those people up, man, and transporting them to the funeral homes or transporting them to the medical examiner's office. And I mean, she'll tell you, man, I caught COVID, what, 5 or 6 times just in the midst of that. I literally risked my life to transport these people in the midst of when nobody didn't want to be around nobody. I mean, you cough funny and everybody was looking at you crazy. I'm literally suited and booted going in there picking up this body that was affected, man, and transporting them, to wherever they need to be transported to. I was infatuated with fire trucks and ambulances.
Mm-hmm.
So, believe it or not, man, I would actually, when I was growing up, I was a firebug. I would set trash on fire, grass on fire, just so the fire trucks could pull up.
Wow.
Man, I would prank call the 911 that had a fire truck show up at the neighbor's house just so I can go outside and speak to him, man, and go visit the fire stations. Like I had just become infatuated with it, man, just the medical side of things, and shit, just one thing had led to another. I mean, I had ended up becoming a explorer with the mass ambulance, and they kind of just went on from there. And I mean, some of the shifts were cool, but then it just, I mean, I guess it just really wasn't my calling
Mm.
to sit there and actually just try to help somebody and they end up dying. It's like, man, damn, you tried and you couldn't bring them back. So in my head, or from what I had seen, just working some of the shifts, you get a lot of people that actually blame you because you wasn't able to bring back their loved one, or that shit really kind of weighed on me, man. And some aspects too, just kind of seeing it, see what first responders actually go through. A lot of people don't understand that we're human just like everybody else. You know,
Yeah.
um, we're kind of programmed to learn how to channel our feelings and our thoughts. We have to basically be everybody else's support system while you guys are crashing in. We have to literally come in and be the ones to try to stand strong to actually get you guys through it. Whether that's, law enforcement, firefighters running into burning buildings, paramedics trying to save people, or, the medical examiner's office showing up to basically pick up your loved one. I mean, I've come across and seen things where, we're out there on a homicide, and there's possibly kids or just a family that's passed away, and you got a group of people that's standing outside and they're watching
Mm-hmm.
and they see us laugh and they seeing us joking. Well, hey, that's how we channel our feelings. We can't be on a scene of a crime scene crying, We got
Yeah.
to do our job. But one way for us to actually channel our feelings and to put, our emotions to the side is that we find ways to crack jokes, man. We find ways to talk, but we through all the bullshit, we have to find a way to actually get us through what it is we're going through. Whether that's the kids or, just something real messed up we just seen. And a lot of people might find it disrespectful, but I mean, hey, this is how we move. I mean, this is just how we channel our emotions and our feelings when it comes to stuff like that.
Well, that makes sense now that you put it that way. But surely you can understand why somebody whose person is laying there and they're just seeing that.
Yeah.
They looking at that person laying down there and then they look up and see you laughing. They not thinking that. So that's why this is very important because we would have never understood that. I don't know that I've been on scenes like that and I've seen the people laughing and then I've never seen people laughing through it, but I guess people do see that.
Yeah.
So it's thank you. Thank you for telling us that. Um, it was something you said, and I wanted to touch on that within all of that you had said. I don't even remember, but going into picking up those bodies, right? on the paramedic side, not picking up the body, but being on the paramedic side, have you ever dealt with somebody you know trying to save their life
No,
on the paramedic on that end?
no. Mm-mm.
And it's interesting you because I wouldn't have grabbed that from the last time we sat down, that like the fact that you losing the life bothers you, but driving with death, moving with death doesn't bother you, because a lot of people looking at you like he's the Grim Reaper.
Nah, I mean, everybody has a calling.
Yeah.
That's just it. Everybody has a calling. Um, my religion, you know, is heavy, man. Um, and I really feel I pray, go to church.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, everybody has a calling. We were all put on this earth to do something, and you know, I had like my Bluetooth in my ear, and my wife has literally heard me talk to a family that's basically, I mean, going through the worst of the worst after just losing a loved one unexpectedly, and them just hearing my voice and just being honest, man, God just talking through me. Like
Yeah.
I've literally been able to calm this family down and just give them some type of peace.
Hmm.
So, I mean, people are gonna say what they want to say. Of course, we all know that, but um, it's my calling, and I love it, man. I
Yeah.
love it, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world.
So one of the things I've seen is 20, that number stands out to people, 22,000. And I'm sure since the last time
Yeah.
we talked.
So let's break this down.
Okay.
The reason why it's 22 is because company I work for, we no longer, I mean, we don't only pick up bodies for the medical examiner's office.
Hmm.
We was picking up bodies for over 20 different funeral homes, multiple agencies, from Wyandotte County, Franklin County, Miami County, Jackson County, Clinton County. There's multiple different counties that we were picking up bodies for. And it just depends on the shift. We work 12-hour shifts. You can work Monday through Friday, you know, and it all just depends on how busy it is. Everything don't make the news. Everybody's so stuck
Yeah.
on everything making the news. Everything does not make the news. The news cannot be everywhere. The news does not hear everything.
Yeah.
Everything does not make the news. We're picking up stillborn babies out of labor and delivery rooms out of their parents' arms. We're literally the ones that have to go in there sometimes and pick those babies up. People die in hospitals. We have to go pick up those bodies that die in the hospitals. Um, we do transport for Midwest Transplant, which is basically your organ donation place. So when people pass away and they decide to basically be organ donors, we're responsible for picking up those bodies and actually transporting those bodies from the medical examiner's office or the hospitals back to Midwest Transplant so they can basically, retrieve the short bones or skin grafts or whatever it is they can retrieve off of that body. So the 22,000 bodies came from me basically picking up bodies for multiple funeral home, multiple law enforcement agencies around different counties.
Yeah.
Me traveling to different states to actually go pick up a body in a casket to maybe bring back up here to a funeral home, 12 hours away. So it all I've kept track of everything
Yeah.
that I've done.
On average, in a 12-hour shift, what would you say?
It all just depends. I mean, literally, it all just depends. Hell, you can do one call and you can do up to 30 calls. It all just depends. It all just depends on how stupid people want to be that day,
Yeah.
or it all just depends on how many people, are ready to leave.
Yeah.
Or however many people, he's ready to come home. But I mean, the agencies and just depend, man. They're running like 5 or 6 vans, 2 beds to a van. So I'm
Mhm.
not the only person that's out here moving around
Yeah.
picking up. I mean, you'd be surprised on how many people die. I mean, every minute on the hour is crazy.
So you said something that stick out within all of that. To going to the hospitals and pulling the babies from the parents.
Yeah.
We had somebody on here. Shout out Brianda. She was talking about her experience within one of the hospitals here, the local hospitals or whatever. Can you talk about the emotion of that, like from your end and seeing it from the parents' end?
Um, man, when it come to kids, I'm different. And the reason I got kids,
Yeah.
um, and if you got a heart, I mean, you can understand it. I mean, not saying that the adults are different, but kids hit like completely different. If it's a baby, man, like I'm not putting no baby in no body bag, carrying him out no hospital. I'll wrap that baby up in a quilt and literally carry that baby out of my arms. I'm not putting him on a bed and wheeling him out.
Mhm.
I'm literally carrying the baby out, wrapped in a quilt, covered up, and I'll walk him back to the van and place him in the van. But kids hit different, man. You just gotta figure out a way to channel it, you know. And my way to channel it, man, is just kind of said just being heavy on my faith, you know. I get in the van when I'm by myself, there's been times where I've like broken down and cried, or I reached out and just called my kids and just say, hey, I just want to let you know I love you. But yeah, the kids, man, the kids hit really different.
So that ride ain't as calming as
No,
the one you were.
no, it's they different.
Yeah. Can you talk about actually, because that's your side, actually trying to take that parent, I mean, that child from the parent, though? Like, that has to be like a
It's
whole
hard.
different task in itself.
They don't want to let go.
Yeah.
I give them all the time, all the time in the world. I mean, because that's it. And yeah, they don't want to let go, man. I just kind of let things flow, you know. Whenever the parents are ready to give them up, then that's just it. Mhm.
Mm.
I'm not gonna rush no parent. That's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
it's different. It's different, and I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to explain because I mean each scenario is different. You got some parents that's just here, just go. Let's just get it over with. Just go. And you got some parents that's just like, I'm not ready. Like I'm not ready. So it's like you got to figure out ways to try to make it go smooth. I mean, because everybody's different.
Yeah.
Emotions hit differently with everybody. Some people happy, some people sad, some people are angry, want to fight you. So you just have to figure them out. You got to learn how to read them.
Hmm.
Um, and just basically, I mean, just try to do the best you can with what you got.
Understood.
So
March 24, 2024 was the last time. Well, that's when we released it. That's when I don't know when we actually sat down. But March 24, 2024 was the last time. And that's when I put over 22,000.
yeah.
Since then, it's been about a year and what's that, 2, 3 months? But what month we in? 4 months, year 4. I don't know how to do these months. Year and 2 months or something. Year and 2 months. What would you say you're at now?
Um, a year. To be honest, I haven't really kept track of what's taking place. I got it. I got it. I keep it on my phone.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, I say probably a couple hundred.
Couple hundred.
Yeah.
Have you come across some stories that wrecked you? Not well, obviously you kind of numb to it now, but like some stories that had stood out since then.
Um, so there's one. So my brother-in-law, he did a ride along with me.
Mm.
Um, it was a night shift ride along, and man, we went to Quick Trip. We sitting at Quick Trip. Like I said, he ain't never been around this, of course. So we sitting in the van. He like, man, I'm hungry. So I'm like, all right, we're just going here. We're going here and grab something to eat. Shit, man, you mean I gotta eat in the van? I'm like, yeah, you gotta eat in the van, man. We shit, call come, we gotta go, man. He like, man, listen, I'll just sit outside the van and eat. So I like, shit, do whatever you want to do, man. I'm getting the van to eat. So I'm sitting in the van, I'm eating, man. He get back in there.
Wait, was it a body in there at the
No,
time?
no,
Oh wait,
no.
oh,
It
okay.
was
No,
empty.
no,
It
no.
was empty.
Okay. I
So
still be
we
good.
sitting there and this car flies by. I mean fly by. He like, damn. I'm like, we're gonna pick him up later on.
Hmm.
Two, 2.5, maybe 3 hours later. Um, off of Broadway, coming off of the highway,
Yeah.
they crossed over the median to traffic coming off of the highway. That same car and killed. They killed theyself. End up, I mean, really critically injuring another person. And man, he looked at me, man. After we got there, I was like, "You noticed something?" He was like, "Hell no! I noticed this body that's mangled in this car."
That's what he said, or
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "But that's the same car that I had said we was probably gonna end up picking up tonight." He was like, "Man, no shit, it is." So we got out and had him help me retrieve the body, of course. He's like, "Man, how we get how?" So I went through the process of basically getting his body out, and, and he just stood back, man, and just kind of was looking at me, man. It was like, man, you fucked up.
He said you're
Mental.
fucked up.
I mean, because like I said, everybody can't do that, man. You sitting there literally trying to pull this dead weight out of a mangled car,
Yeah.
and I'm right in the car with the body, man, grabbing the body and literally pulling the body out of the car. This person's dead. There's blood everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you've had that one. Um,
Before you go to that, how is he doing now? Like after that ride along, like has that bothered him? Has he talked to you about it?
we talk about it all the time, but to be honest, I don't think it's bothering him. But it opened his eyes to how many people actually die a day.
Yeah.
He got to see a side that a lot of people would like to see. He got to, I mean, really experience a lot of stuff, man. Because that was a pretty crazy couple days. I think he actually rode with me a whole shift. Yeah, he rode me a whole weekend.
Oh, he was in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
night shift. Yeah.
Okay.
So he actually got to actually see some stuff.
Yeah. How long could it take to, and I do want you to go on after, but how long could it take to get one of those body? Like, what's the longest it took you to get one of those bodies out of those
A
kind
car.
of, yeah, like wrapped cars or anything?
It all just depends. I mean, sometimes depending on how totaled out the car is, you probably got to call the fire department to come in there with the jaws of life to actually help you cut them out because something could be possibly trapped or entrapping them from pulling them out.
Hmm.
The cars are mangled, so the top part could be free, but the legs could be stuck. Of course, you don't want to start ripping off body parts, so basically would have to call the fire department to come in and actually help you remove the body. So it literally all just depends on the scene.
And I want to get back to those other scenes, but have you ever did a scene that you looked at and was like, how is this person still alive?
Nah, because everybody I picked up was dead.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I ain't even thinking about that. Hey, strike that. Yeah, obviously, if you on the scene, yeah. I keep it. Let them talk about me. Let them talk about. But you get any other ones from since 2024, March
uh
24. That
yeah, there was one. Um it was in an apartment complex. Me and one of my partners had went in. The detective told us, she's like, hey, he's upstairs. He's on the side of the bed. He's about 500 pounds and he's been
mm,
down for uh, a couple weeks. It's the middle of August. So, of course, we go up there and yeah, he's a decomp. So, this room is small, man. So we're trying to figure out a way to get him out. So she's like, no, you guys are gonna need help. You're gonna have to call the fire department in here. I told her we don't need no help, man. I got this.
500
So
pounds.
yeah. So she's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, yes, we do. We got it. So I tell my partner, I'm like, man, all right, he's a decomp, man. He ain't been doing it as long as I have. I think at the time he had been doing it probably about almost a year. So I mean, he's still kind of learning and seeing shit. So I'm like, hey, we're gonna put him in a canoe, which is basically like a plastic sheet that actually catches all the fluids that's leaking out of the body in case. I mean, if they leak out, they'll leak out in this plastic sheet and not leak out in the body bag. Or if you go to put them in this sheet, you can then put the sheet inside of the body bag to kind of contain as much of the blood or whatever fluids they're leaking as possible, so they're not like leaking out in the back of the van, creating a biohazard. So I'm like, we'll wrap him in this canoe and then we'll put the body bag here. So we'll turn him over in the canoe. We'll drag him in the body bag, which sounds, crazy, but I mean, this person is dead. So this is the only way it's going to work. Um, so as we're doing that, like I said, this room is small, man. We done flipped the mattress over, got the mattress up against the wall. Like we're moving stuff around in the room. And the dude was a hoarder. So there's like stuff everywhere. So as we're doing it, man, we're getting him. I mean, we got him and we're dragging him back. And some fluid leaked out. So as we're putting him in the bag, man, my partner slips on some of the fluid and fell on top of the dude, man. Fell on top of the dude. After we had got him in the bag, like he slipped. I don't know how the hell he did it, but he slipped and fell in the bag with the dude, man. But we ended up getting him zipped up, shit, and got him out. Just the two of us, and he my size.
Jesus Christ. And is that all since 2024?
Yeah.
Okay, them the ones that stand out since.
The fluid was
Come on, Darren.
no. I was just having every week like, what does the fluid look and smell like?
He
Fluid.
asked, "What does the fluid look and smell like?"
Brown. It's brown, like a dark brown, light. It all just depends sometimes on how long they've been down. It all just depends. But dude was, like I said, he was big. So all those gases in his stomach when we had turned him over because he had fell face down, been in that apartment with no AC, had expanded his stomach. So he's, his stomach's pitch black. There's bubbles all on his stomach with like clear fluid. You can see it seeping through like the cysts. So when we go to grab him, those cysts explode and that fluid leaks out on top of the skin slippage when you want to grab him. Yes.
Are you carrying that smell with you all the time? Not that it's on you that
So,
everybody else can smell it, but like you
I can smell
lived it so much that
I can smell it.
yeah,
I can smell it.
that's tough.
It's weird as shit now, but like I can smell it now.
Like you saying you can
I can smell it right now.
Wow,
Yeah.
right now you can smell
And it could be that it's just entrapped in my pores or something, but like it's a smell that you never forget, and I can smell it.
yeah.
It's weird, man.
It's the worst smell in the world.
It's weird.
So we see it all the time where like cops and stuff well, I see it on shows all the time where cops have this person riding with them or whatever, like their new partner or whatever, and they're freaked out by some stuff that didn't happen on the scene or they quit. How have you dealt with that? How often have you dealt with that? Like you've had some new person come in and thought they could deal with it but couldn't.
So I had a new guy. I had a new guy that actually they had hired his first time ever doing it. We went in the house, picked up the body, and apparently it must have set in that like, hey, like this is a whole dead body I'm wheeling out of this house.
Yeah.
and dude got freaked out and dropped the gurney. He let the gurney go. Dude was 275. I think he was around 275 or 300. He let the gurney go as we were wheeling this body out of the house in the middle of the wintertime. It had just rained. I'm trying to carry the body down the stairs, so all the weight, of course, is coming back on me. He lets the body go. Cot flips. I trip off the porch, fall through this flower pot, and the body lands on top of me. Yeah.
How are you dealing with this body landing on? How are you dealing with this body landing on top of you?
I mean, shit, I couldn't. The family actually had to come outside and help get the body off of me. I couldn't move because the body was on top of me.
And this is not the same thing you was telling us about. I don't know if you remember. You told us about. You said you had only dropped one body before.
No, this is different.
This is a whole different one.
This has happened since I've been on the show.
So I know you was pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did the family react to this?
So the wife used to be a hospice nurse. They actually was apologetic because they're like, man, you know, he's big. We get it. The stairs were steep, but you know, in my mind, man, we're not here to drop bodies. We're not here, you know, to upset the family more than what they are. Like, man, that shit it pissed me off.
Yeah.
I was pissed, man.
I'm gonna try this. You could turn me down if you want to, but I just thought about this, and I think it's very important to this episode. I want to talk to Tiffany a little bit because I want to. Can you sit over there real quick? Yeah. Oh, because this is important.
Let's see where you taking this.
No. Because remember on last episode we talked about her end of how it is to deal with that.
Yes.
So I do want to know how it is to, especially from the beginning, like having to deal with that, like because this would be a new thing for you.
Yeah.
So can you remember the first time he came in the house or got on the phone and you had to like kind of calm him down, or how did it mess with you a little bit?
So the very first time is where we set boundaries. His first call was a mom and her kids on the highway. If I remember, they said she was speeding at a high rate with no lights, and she ended up wrecking. Um, he picked up the mom and two of the kids. One was transported but ended up dying later. But he called me after, and I'm like, I sat up in the bed and I'm like, what you mean? Like the kids? You know, the kids is what really like,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't sleep that night. Like I could not sleep. We talked pretty much from the time he picked them up and dropped them off because I had questions. I'm like, what was she thinking? Like, even though he don't know that, but in my head, like I want to know like what was going on. Because what these kids was not strapped in car seats. They were not in car seats. They were not strapped in seatbelts. Was she trying to get away from something? That's what I was thinking. Like, what was going on as to why
Mm-hmm.
she would have been speeding down the highway with no lights. These kids are not strapped in, and it's just like the to hear about a death of a child. Man, it's heartbreaking. Cause I got our girls, our
Mm-hmm.
daughters, and I'm always around kids. You know, kids always attract to me. I love kids.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always Tiffany's teen kids.
Yeah. If you don't love nothing else.
Yeah.
You love
And it
kids.
just was it was super heartbreaking, but I can hear the shakiness in his voice, even though he tries to like be this very calm and like, oh, it doesn't bother me. The kids bother him the most out of everybody. And for me, I just always talk to, even though I was like real high strung, I still just stay calm. And I just kind of try to talk him through it, like, and he just so great at like just going through the motion of the whole situation. And he's talking me through it like, this is what I gotta do next, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do this. And I'm like, who are you? You know, where did this person come from? But it was very intriguing and very interesting. So even now, still to this day, we do the same thing. Like he talks to me about certain things and he tells me, you know, the stories, and I always ask like, well, what happened? And he like, sometimes he knows, sometimes he don't. But um again, just prayer. Like I always keep him calm. I motivate him. Like when I know he want to work, I always send him like real long motivational text or prayers, or even during the shift, I'm calling, just to check on him, just to see how his mental is. Or honestly, every day I do that. Because we get so busy, especially he works 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Day job and night job. So sometimes it kind of slips away from us to check on our loved ones or check on that person to see how they doing. Or because he could have experienced something during the week that I would have never known about if I don't check in on him. So I have to, do that mental check with him every day. And I know it bothers him, it gets on his nerves sometimes, because I'm like, hey, how are you feeling? And he like, I'm fine. I'm like, are you sure? He like, yeah. And I'm like, you're positive? Yes, I'm sure. And I'm like, but I gotta check.
When can you tell that?
I
Even
can feel it.
because, huh?
I feel his energy.
Okay, because
Even
sometimes people could say, I'm good, I'm good,"
hmm
and they really, really think they're good.
hmm
But sometimes you could probably tell, like,
yeah.
nah. So
I always
it's
know. Like I literally can lay next to him and feel his energy even when I'm not around him. I know something's off. And it's the same with my kids. But with him, like I know when something's off. So I'm calling just to say, hey, what, you okay? You good? How's your day going? But it's really me checking on him because I feel like something's off.
yeah,
But it's the connection you have with a person. When you have a real connection and a bond with a person, you know when something's wrong. Their body language tell you something wrong. I know him, like I know his gestures, I know his facial expressions, I know everything about this man, and I know when something's off, even when he don't know it himself.
mm-hmm,
So sometimes I have to like, he's very stubborn, so I have to sit him down and say, hey, what's wrong?
mm-hmm,
And then eventually he'll tell me.
mm-hmm.
And he always be like, how do you do that? And I'm like, do what? How do you be knowing? I'm like, because I know. I pay attention to you. I'm observing. I watch. And I've learned you since we've been together.
A,
So
a little earlier, you said boundaries, though.
yeah.
Y'all had to what are the what are the boundaries?
The boundaries is no kids. I don't
Yeah.
He can tell me about everyone and everything, but I do not ever want to know the details about a kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's our only boundary.
Okay.
I can't mentally handle it. Like I did medical assistant for a while, and I did my internship at Children Mercy Pediatric Care Clinic. And the reason I stopped doing it was because of that same thing. Seeing kids hurt, abused, neglected.
Yeah.
That's my boundary. Like that's from my own inner self. Like that's the only boundary I have. But other than that, he can talk to me and tell me, vent, cry if he need to, or sometimes we just sit in silence
Mm-hmm.
if that's what he needs.
Has anything ever surprised you?
A lot of things that he does surprise you. The one thing and I've said it so many different times, is the way he talks to these families and calm them down and keeps them so peaceful and provide information that you of course don't think of. And the one thing that he always tells them, like, right now, because it's so much going on, you got so many questions, write them down now, because once you get to that funeral home, you're not going to remember any of this. These are the things you're not going to think of.
Yeah.
So do this. And then he always asks them, do you want to see him again before, or him or her, before I take them away? Or do you need a little bit more time? Because he don't have to care about that,
Yeah.
because that's his job. He comes to just take them away. He don't have to comfort them, but he does. And we've been in situations where they don't care. They literally come, they take their body, they gone. Didn't even speak or say anything to the family at all. But he literally takes the time to like comfort them and just kind of keep them at ease that he's going to take care of them. Even though they're gone, I'm still taking care of them right now until you see them for the last time.
Yeah. Have you ever wanted to ride alone?
No, absolutely not.
You
I
didn't
didn't
let me
think twice
finish the
about it.
question. I said ever, and you said
Cannot, you know what? And we just talked about this. We just talked about this actually, but I would it wouldn't bother me with people that I know have lived a long life
Yeah.
and they're just older and they're passing away because they're old. But a tragic like I don't want to experience that.
Yeah.
I like to see people how they were. It's been times where he's picked people up, and I will once I know about the situation on news releases the name or whatever, I'll go look them up, and I want to see this person's like personality
Yeah,
on
I get what
social
you're
media.
saying.
Like I've
Yeah.
I've done that,
Yeah.
and I just tell them like, dang, like it's been kids like kids committed suicide, my kids' age or younger, little kids like small kids, and I'm like, why? But then you know what? Sometimes it was one little girl in Blue Springs, young girl. I think she was in elementary. And eventually I ended up seeing it because I'm in a Blue Springs community group because that's where, close to our area. And I'm reading her story and I'm just like, bullying. Like this little girl, I think she was maybe 8, and she thought that was her only option to escape bullying was to kill herself. And I'm just like, how? Like I can't did that bullying. I mean, those type of situations. It's just it's very 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 heartbreaking. So it's something I just don't ever want to experience.
So how's it with as far as the children?
Hmm.
How does this translate to your parenting after seeing this type of stuff? Like, or how you communicate with your children, or the things you're telling your children?
I've always been a very hands on parent.
Yeah.
I talk to my kids and I talk at them. I allow them to tell me how they feel instead of me telling them how they should feel. So when we have conversation, it's literally dialogue. I let them say, and I'll correct them if I feel like they're getting too far out of line. I'm
Hmm.
correcting them, but I always tell them like my older daughters now, they want to go out sometimes, and I'm just like, hey, be careful. Look, pay attention to these things. If you see this happening, do this. Like we have those conversations, but thankfully, like they don't do anything, too
Mm.
crazy. But I always keep them. I relate a lot of Johnny's stories to the
Yeah.
girls so they understand this is what's really going on. Like y'all may not see it, y'all may not hear about it, but this happens.
Do it hit different when they hear it from him, of knowing what he does?
No, my kids are very intrigued by Johnny. Like they, all the kids are. His son goes on ride-alongs with him. He loves it.
Really?
He wants to be. Well, he's actually in cadet school, so he's going
Hey.
to be a police officer. But he loves it. He goes on the calls with him and perfectly fine. But as far as the girls, all the girls, they get cringy, but they're like,
Mm-hmm.
still kind of like want to know.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
just kids being kids.
As far as y'all's relationship, though, beyond him, you talking to him through what he does, has it ever affected your relationship? And how do y'all walk through it? Because as it looks, y'all in a good place,
Hmm.
but it could be a heavy thing to deal with when you first trying to figure out the twerks in it and stuff.
Yeah. Um, we definitely hit bumps in the road. Mainly because he likes to shut himself off.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the has been the only hiccup. Like he loves to I ain't gonna say he love it. He has this thing where if something is bothering him, his first response is to just shut down,
Yeah.
not say anything. And the his favorite line is, "I'm not bothering nobody." And I said, "No, you're not bothering anyone, and you're not doing anything to anyone. But that is the problem. You're not interactive, which are signs of something's wrong.
Which is bothering people.
It's bothering me, and I mean,
Yeah.
because even the kids, they're like, 'What's wrong with Johnny?' And I'm like,
I can
he's
relate to
having a
them.
bad day.
Men are naturally like that.
Yeah, he's
Normally.
having a bad, but it's not healthy though.
It's not.
So in those instances, instead of me, just kind of coming at him in a very negative way or just talking at him like that, I always calmly sit him down like, so what we need to talk about? Like what's wrong? Is it something I can do to help? Sometimes he'll say yes, sometimes he'll say no. Um, But for the most part, I don't match his energy. If he's in that space, I'm not gonna match that same space. I'm gonna stay myself and be true to myself, and it helps every single time.
Mm.
So
Well, I appreciate you for one for doing this impromptu
I
thing.
know, right?
Another, you articulated yourself very well through it. And another thing, being able to do this. Because we always talk about the people who are actually doing the things or whatever that we never
Yeah.
get to like hear from the people on the other side, the people who got to come them or live through it or be in the house with them. So I appreciate your service as well as I appreciate his service. Because if
Yes.
things are going wrong at home, it may look different on the job. I don't know. I'm just
The one thing that this man does very well is his job.
yeah.
He can fall short in other areas, but his work ethic is like unmatched. No matter what job he doing, it is literally unmatched. And I say that all the time to him. Like I asked him the other day, I'm like, "Do you know how to turn work off?"
Hmm.
And he's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Why do you have your work phone on a Saturday?" And he's like, "Well, they're gonna call me because such and such is working." I'm like, "That's you're off work. Like turn it off."
Oh, that's fun because I in my head I had an off duty thing too. So even off duty, he on duty.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, he don't know how to turn it off. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. But it can be because sometimes work will interfere with your personal life.
Yeah.
And when you don't know how to separate the two, it affects you mentally within your personal life.
Hmm.
Because you so much in work mode, you don't know how to transition into like, I'm a husband today and I'm a dad and I'm a papa versus
Big papa.
big papa. Instead of I'm a boss
Yeah.
and I have these people that I have to, make sure they doing this, and this. Well, this is not work, honey.
Yeah. Well,
So
all right. Well, thank you. Y'all
you're
can
welcome. You want to
appreciate you.
switch?
Yeah. She said your son is in cadet school. So how is that for you? It's a difference in you doing it, but have like I know football players who don't want their kid to ever play football because of the concussions and all that stuff. But it's those ones who's champion it too. You got gangsters who don't never want their kid to be a gangster because of what comes with it. So your child getting in cadet school.
So he's actually a police cadet for Olake the police department.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm super proud of him, man.
Okay.
Uh, he's following his dream. That's what he wants to do, and I'm a backing 1,000,000%. So I'm not gonna let him fall short of it. I'm gonna support him every step of the way. So I mean, it's something he's wanted to do. I mean, he's literally taking the time to literally look everything up about the job, and I mean, he could tell you the ins and outs. He could tell you every law there is, man. And I'm super proud of him. So yeah, no, I'm a backing 1,000,000% on that.
From your side and seeing like what the cops and stuff do, are there any pointers you gave them or just being on
Um,
the scenes? You
so to be honest, me personally, no,
okay?
because I actually have family that's in law enforcement. My
Got it.
best friend is a cop, and he's a police sergeant. So he's actually spoken to him, and he's actually he actually has those channels to actually reach
Yeah.
out to those individuals to actually get it firsthand versus hearing it from me.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, he's done ride-alongs with me. I've asked him to stay in the van on a couple of scenes, and I'm inside getting the body, and I come out, man. He's standing over there by the police, talking to them.
Oh yeah, he on it.
And they are best friends now, man. So, um, yeah, man. It's yeah, he's doing his thing, man, and I'm super proud of him.
When we was going through the comments, they was asking like, "Why you smile? Like, why you smiling a lot of the times?"
So, the reason why I smile a lot is because, um, sometimes you gotta smile to keep from crying, man. Some of those stories, just thinking back on them, man, it's just it's heartbreaking because I deal with so much of it and I see so much of it. I literally, when I'm thinking, or when I'm talking about some of the stuff, I smile to keep from crying.
Yeah, that was my only question.
Wait, wait, wait. While he's sitting there, can you get these young niggas some advice as far as like, cause you see a lot of bodies on the scene. I'm sure you
Yeah,
didn't. Yeah,
no, I
so
do.
and I'm not talking about you in particular,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying like it's not every day we get to see a young man sit across from somebody like you. So if you sit and talking to one of these young dudes you see into some stuff, what would you tell them from all your experiences?
I mean, to be honest with you, man, it's you want to hang around the wrong crowd. It's never the person that's toting the gun that end up getting shot. It's always the person that is basically trying to find himself. I can't tell you how many times I've actually picked up young brothers like yourself, man, that just wrong place at the wrong time, or what I'm saying, he wanted to hang around this person because of who this person is and what they got. It's always the innocent ones that end up losing their life behind some bullshit.
Thank you.
We ain't gonna keep you too much on.
Like, you got any questions you want to ask?
Ooh, that's tough.
But there was one
Uh,
one thing. No, you gotta ask me. There was one question that a lot of people kept asking or kept making a statement that they can tell it really bothers him because his handshake, which
Yeah.
is not true. So he can elaborate on why that is.
Ah, yeah.
Because it ties into the entire story from your paramedic side going into
I mean, it really don't.
it does because why you not paramedic anymore?
So even with that whole thing, because she's talk, I don't know if y'all could hear, it, but she talked about the handshake and the thing he do with his hand. Cause I've talked to Darren about that off of there, like when I first before it aired or whatever. And I even said something like, if somebody was to play him in a movie and they get that down high, because it seems like a whole thing like he's affected. I even told people looking in his eyes is you could kind of see, you could see it. Like, so you would think it was from that. So, and you're saying it's not, it's
Yeah, nah.
okay.
Yeah, so the reason why my hand shake is because I was in a really, really bad car accident and I got a nervous issue. So I got a pinched nerve. So yeah, I couldn't pursue the paramedic stuff because of the accident, which I can't start IVs, because my hand shake. I got a nervous issue because of the wreck. So that's the reason why my hands shake. So my hands shaking has nothing to do with the industry and what
Okay.
I've been through.
You want to talk to us about that accident? What happened with this accident?
No, I was just hit by, just normal drunk driver. Down, it's
One more drunk driver.
yeah, just hit by a drunk driver, T-bone.
Okay.
And just the extent of it with the seat breaking and the seat belt actually tightening up. It caused my body to go one way, and when my body went that way, it snapped something
Yeah.
to where it pinched a nerve. So yeah, it caused my hands to kind of shake. And some days it's actually I can be sitting up here look like I got Parkinson's disease because my hands shake, but it's not my whole body. It's literally just my hands.
And I guess God, what was something?
Do you believe that? I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. Do you believe that happened for a particular reason because you were going to pursue the ambulance and the medical field in that direction, and
That's good.
everything took to a turn after that accident? Now you're doing what you feel like is your purpose.
It possibly could be because I didn't only have to be a paramedic. I could have been an EMT. I could have been a firefighter. You know, I could have been in law enforcement. But it could be.
Yeah, because I would imagine this is not a job that somebody just wakes up and be like, "Hey, I'm going to," I think it's something more of like a push into that direction.
Yeah, it could be. Really never thought about that, but
Have you told us the worst of the scenes you've seen?
Um, here's the deal. I've seen everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people hit by trains.
Yeah.
Man, I've seen people hit by trains. I've seen people jump off bridges. The 12th Street Bridge on the train tracks. I done picked up somebody that jumped off that bridge and landed on the train tracks.
How does that body look after? Now that's different.
Oh, yeah, head
It's
exploded.
completely smashed. Like,
Well, I mean, not to be.
That just happened like last week. That
No, that was different.
Oh, that was different.
That was different.
Oh, was you at that one?
No,
Okay.
yeah, I only worked the weekend shift, so
Gotcha.
no, but no, that one was different.
Okay.
Mine's happened at night. I think this was actually after we talked. It was crazy, man. Yeah, but yeah, no, mine's happened at night. But no, body doesn't explode. I mean, the head hit the track, which exploded that. But like, I mean, bones break, a bunch of scrapes and bruises, and depending on how hard they hit, or however hard they hit, the bone might break out of the skin.
man.
But I mean, yeah, it all.
So it's never no scene where like a body's been rolled over and it's like flat, like smashed, like
I've seen it. I-35. I don't know. It's been like a few years ago. You guys remember the lady that was on the party bus and she flew out the back of the door on the party bus on I-35
Yeah.
and 18th Street Expressway and she was hit by like 3 semis.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that
I didn't
one
hear about that.
that one was a real bad one.
Yeah, that was. What is this? 2025. That was like.
Yeah,
So 2020.
Yeah. but yeah, she was on a party bus and just happened to lean up against the back door of the party bus and flew out the door open. Somehow, some way the door ended up opening and she flew out the back.
On these scenes you go to, have you ever had a time where you dealt with the other people like the cops and the firefighters and it doesn't go well, like they on some other stuff that you don't agree with, or
I mean, you have your times where like um I'm gonna say this. I don't know how they're gonna take it, but a lot of cops are scared of dead people, man. I can't tell you how many times I've come up on the scene and the cops are just like, yeah, man, they ain't house. We don't want nothing to do with that, man. But I mean, literally, I honestly feel like I've seen a lot of policemen, they don't want nothing to do with that death side, man. You know, they'll protect and serve, but when it comes to a dead body, man, I think they just kind of turn around and walk away because it's like, shit, we got to deal with it, but we ain't sign up for this part. So, we'll do our job, but yeah, we're going to leave this to y'all.
and I don't want to make it seem like it's like somebody's better than the other, but who do you think has the hardest part of that whole little, what is it called, community when it comes to these things?
I mean, to be honest, I'd say the cops. Just because they're sitting there trying to basically calm everybody down. They're trying to basically keep the families from running into these crime scenes, that they've taped off. And I mean, it's kind of sad to say it, but just a lot of people don't really like the police. So you take that into account of just losing a loved one and we already don't like you and you ain't doing shit to basically go find the person that just did this. Y'all just standing around, like, move out of my way.
Yeah.
So I honestly feel like the law enforcement actually has it a whole lot worse than us because, I mean, when we get out there to actually pick up the body and, the death investigator is there to do their part in their investigation, they're protecting us to actually get in there and do our part so we can basically retrieve that body and get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's the police, man. I feel like they actually have it a whole lot harder than everybody.
Where do you find fulfillment in this job?
Just basically being able to put families at ease, just after losing a loved one. I feel like I find my fulfillment in basically just letting them know that, hey, I understand you're grieving, but your family member is basically okay in my hands,
Yeah.
and I promise to get them to where they're going.
Mm.
So yeah, that's where I find my.
Is that the reward in the whole thing, knowing that the family can be satisfied with.
I mean, knowing that the family can be satisfied, but also knowing that this person that just lost their life. I mean, yeah, we look at them as bodies, but you know, I'm actually taking them to their last,
Yeah.
resting, not resting place, but their last couple of places before they actually, get put in the ground. So
Well, in closing, they've said you should have your own podcast. They said you need to have a Netflix series. We need a movie. We need. How do you and with the viralness? Because like I said, only one video is at 4.1, but you got another one at 1.9. You got one on other sites at 1,000. You got people ripping it from the site. We can't count those. We don't know how much. Somebody just sent me the dude. I don't know if y'all see the dude who he always smacking and eating and talking to his kids and giving them advice. He reposted your stuff and he's reacting to it. That's another something thousand views or whatever, and it's gonna keep going up. So how do you feel? Oh yeah, before you say that, there's also been a lot of great shit said about him. He's an angel. We need him. He's a blessing. He's God sent. I couldn't do this. I don't know how he do it. I want to ride along with him. It's been a bunch of great feedback. It's been very little other stuff.
one thing I really did want to touch on, man, and it's kind of crazy, but give us our flowers, man.
Oh, for sure.
And the reason why I say that is because if you guys think about it, just imagine how many people lost their life to COVID.
Mm.
It was us who was going in there picking those people up, man, and transporting them to the funeral homes or transporting them to the medical examiner's office. And I mean, she'll tell you, man, I caught COVID, 5 or 6 times just in the midst of that. I literally risked my life to transport these people in the midst of when nobody didn't want to be around nobody. I mean, you cough funny and everybody was looking at you crazy.
Yeah.
I'm literally suited and booted going in there picking up this body that was affected, man, and transporting them, to wherever they need to be transported to. And I feel like a lot of people don't really look at what we do and how serious it is, man. But I mean, people had negative stuff to say about it, and a lot of people had good stuff to say about it. But just think about if this position wasn't around. Just imagine, the countless of bodies that might just be laying around on the street. I mean, the diseases that come from the bodies after they lay around, man, like this would look like a third world country. So I mean, it's a profession that's really, I think, frowned upon, but I mean, it's needed.
But like I said, I didn't see as many like bad comments as like everything is like good, and we need to hear more about this kind of stuff. Like, did you see it?
Yeah.
Did you see it? Did you see it doing this though? Like what
No.
and this is just recently is taking off. Like,
No.
yeah. So you understand how powerful your voice is right now, right? And
Yeah.
how powerful you already knew how powerful what you do is, but do you understand?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I looked at it like another.
No, like,
I looked at it like another job.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did not. I did not realize it was gonna
Yeah.
do what it's doing.
Yeah. So one thing about it, like what happened was I looked at it and I'm like, I was upset a bit. I ain't gonna lie. I don't be caring about views on a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But when it came after a year, I ran past your episode and it said 1,000. That was in June. It was a little over a year. And I'm like, this shit was so interesting when I was sitting down. I know other people would like to see. Maybe I'm just not doing my part to, you know what I'm saying? So Darren sent me something about something else, and I seen how they promoted it, so I re-promoted it, and it just took off like crazy. So again, back to how do you feel about the movies and the stuff that everybody wants you to do? Like
It's crazy, man.
they want to do ride-alongs. They
Yeah,
want to do.
It's crazy. A lot of people were asking too. How do they get involved in something like this?
Mhm.
And I mean, it all just depends. You could go to your local medical examiner's office and basically, ask them if they do ride-alongs, or you can figure out who actually transport the bodies for the medical examiner's office. You have some agencies that actually do their own transporting, and you have some agencies that actually outsource the work. Here in this particular area, they outsource the work. So it all just depends on where you are, but you would just need to look that information up. Just kind of move forward that way.
All right, guess we'll wrap it up now. I don't even want to, because I feel like this is gonna happen again, or something's gonna happen again. They're gonna want you, so I'm gonna just say the goal is to leave a lasting imprint on their minds and their hearts. We pray you've been indelibly marked. Ain't no point in doing the other thing.